Hi, my name is Cassidy SP. Today I will be talking about loss and grief and what all comes with that. Loss is such a common attribute in life, and it's something everyone knows will come, but it's such a hard thing to think about, and everyone dreads it. It's a sad reality that we must deal with every day in life, and it's something I personally have had to deal with for the past couple of years. Loss creates grief, and this feeling can stick around for ages, either in short bursts or continuously for no no certain amount of time. Uh, but grieving is a fundamental part of loss, coming in forms of sadness, denial, even happiness as you honor the loss of your loved ones. It's an emotion never really able to be understood just due to all of its different forms. As I said before, I have experienced loss myself. I had lost the man that practically raised me. But as it happened, as I looked around and I saw my mom and my brother crying together, all I could think about was, why am I not reacting the same? The knots and kinks of grief will truly never be able to be understood. But today I hope to teach you how to be more open to the different forms you may come across in your life. I will be helping you understand it by telling the fable of the Crimson Candle and the story of my own. Let's begin with the Aesop fable of the Crimson Candle. The Crimson Candle, though seemingly a religious piece of text due to its mentions of God and Christianity, can be analyzed and viewed as something different. This is what I wish to show you today as I explain the fable Ambrose Bierce had written. As told by the website Aesop Fables, the fable of the Crimson Candle, which is in the book Fantastic Fables, published in 1899, is a story of a man passing and asking his wife a favor. The man calls for his wife as he lays in his deathbed, and upon her arrival, he asks a request of her. He asks for one last proof of her affection and fidelity, as said in the fable. This last proof is for the wife to never remarry as long as this red candle is still in existence. Um, if any, if one ignores the religious explanations in his request, it's really easy to just see the man's words as explanations of grief itself. The woman now must wait for this candle, her grief, to leave existence before she can ever really feel the same way again. Uh, the man is not forcing her not to move on. It is simply that she can't because her grief is just still going. She can't move on until it's fully gone. This part, this story gives but a brief example of the intricacies of grieving. So now I will share my own. Back in 2019, the unthinkable happened to me. One never really expects the loss of a relative, even if they serve in the military like my stepdad had. But this occurred to me and my family as my stepdad was diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer. I wasn't as close to him as others in my family, which is why I believe my grief was different upon his passing. I did not cry when we were told the news. I was more focused on my mother and brother crying on the couch. I was focused on my little sister who was far too young to really understand the true significance of that loss. I was focused on everything but my own emotions. It made me feel strange watching my family cry as I stood on the outskirts, not really feeling the same burn behind my eyes. I just didn't understand why I wasn't feeling the same, and it felt wrong. From then on, they all continued to mourn, but because I pushed back those feelings, I never really expressed them. I never understood this loss. That's up until recently, like the past couple of months recently, where I finally had these emotions rise in me. The first time was whenever we went and visited his grave at Arlington Cemetery. I watched as my mom and brother cried, and I could feel it. I could feel the tears gathering in my eyes, my throat closing, and I quickly pushed that away. I did not like feeling that grief, and I focused on my new little brother. the next time those emotions overcame me, it's when the dams all broke. I was at a camp of sorts, and we were doing an activity. It's where whenever a category describes you, you were to walk up and answer a few questions. At some point, I had already been up there a handful of times for multiple different reasons. And I don't know if it was the buildup of emotions or it was just finally time. But as I was labeled the group of those who had lost loved ones, I felt my candle really start to burn. My grief really started coming. My candle before that seemed just simply to be an ember, flaring occasionally, but never truly burning. At that moment, though, it ignited, and I started crying in front of everyone. I felt ridiculous because I'm not really one to show emotions, but I really felt the sadness and the grief fill me up, and it felt relieving, even if it was a little embarrassing. At that point, I truly felt as though my candle, had started to burn, and I was no longer watching others grieve from the sidelines. These stories, both Aesop's and my own, explain the nature of grief and its wide variety of looks. Grief will come to everyone in time. Now you just have to remember that there are different ways for it to be expressed, and you have to be kind and patient, even just to yourself during that process. Thank you for your time.